All right, so we are here today to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to be playing some standard. I've been really enjoying playing standard lately, and we are back with what I think is just hands down the best deck in the format, green-white tokens. I'm going to do a brief deck here. For those of you that have been living under a rock, green-white tokens just won Pro Tour Shadows over Innistrad and is just an amazingly powerful proactive deck in standard that I think everybody should be playing because it's fast. Basically, the deck operates off getting in a couple of early drop creatures, Sylvan Advocate, Hangerback Walker, and that sort of thing, and then curving into Nissa and Gideon and Archangel Avacyn. Um, it's basically tuned around being the best possible shell for Archangel Avacyn and making the most out of her. So we have lots of tokens. We have Dromoka's Command and Hangerback Walker to kill our own creatures and flip our own Avacyn, which can be really powerful. And then also, our go wide strategy with multiple ways to anthem our creatures works really well with Hangerback Walker, secure the wastes, and then we have an alternate win condition in Westvale Abbey. My version is a little bit different. I'm running a couple of Tireless Trackers and Deathcap Cultivators. These are some other green creatures that provide some other elements to the deck. I think Tireless Tracker is just a ridiculously powerful card and provides a lot of inevitability in a game where you can stick it. It's really great in the mirror because you can just generate clue after clue after clue and really pull ahead on cards. And then Deathcap Cultivator is a card that works really well with Gideon. Being able to play a turn 3 Gideon on the play is just one of the most powerful things you can do in Standard right now, and a lot of decks just lose to that. Um, so having this little guy here to not only be able to live the dream and play Gideon, also lets us play Tireless Tracker and then a land on turn 3, and it also gets us one turn ahead for establishing Archangel Avacyn superiority. In addition, because we have an artifact creature, a nice mix of instants and sorceries and enchantments that can go to the graveyard, it's quite easy for us to activate Deathcap Cultivator's Delirium, which means that even in the late game, he's not necessarily a dead draw. He can be a 2/1 death toucher that can get in there. So I like the full 4 Oath of Nissa, at least in the main deck. Consistency is key. Even with a really rock solid mana base, sometimes having that Oath means you can get, even if you don't have double green, double white, moving into turn 4, you can always cast your Planeswalkers. Um, lets you keep a lot more hands. I keep 1 landers with an Oath a reasonable amount of the time with this deck, so and that's something that most proactive decks in the format, you have 1 lander, it's automatic, you gotta ship it. So um, the card's just really nice. It also makes opposing Dromoka's commands a lot weaker, and it can protect your in the sideboard in the main deck can protect your stasis snares, but in the sideboard I really like bringing in Quarantine Field against a lot of decks, Planeswalker decks, anything that has um, big, strong threats that can be exiled. And then again, it's great in the mirror. Multiple Planeswalkers, Hangerback Walker, Archangel Avacyn, all really great targets for Quarantine Field. And because you're running your own oaths, they're safer to run out in the face of Dromoka's Command. Moving to the sideboard, um, there's kind of a few different things going on here. Tragic Arrogance is just the most amazing card in the mirror and against Bant. It's also your main game plan against aggro decks. So against aggro decks, we bring in Declaration, a couple of little lammies to block the ground, some big life-linking angels, and the lovely ladies of the skies, and bring in Tragics, and we just try to hold the ground, with plants and whatever we can throw in front of their creatures until we can resolve a Tragic and get away with the game. That's our game plan against humans. It's important as well against humans to have the follow-up with these big flying creatures, particularly Dragonlord Dromoka, which is a card that I think should be in the sideboard of a lot more of these decks. But even if you stabilize, oftentimes you're stabilizing it between 4 and 11 life, and that can be just a couple of swings with a creature with Grifspoon on it. So having a big flying creature is absolutely necessary to fully stabilize and get control of the game against humans. Um, Other things in the sideboard, Clip Wings is just the best technology against any deck with dragons. Any Ojutai decks, it's just an absolute beating, and it works really, really well, against other Archangel Avacyn decks. Um, Quarantine Field, like I talked about, is just a great card to bring in against any deck with expensive threats, and Evolutionary Leap is an amazing, amazing card that lets you grind with anybody. Not only do you have 8 Planeswalkers in your main deck, but the fact that you can turn any one of your creatures, any one of your creature tokens, a random 0/1 plant into an Archangel Avacyn at instant speed and counter the removal spell, it's just bonkers. So this deck's great. Um, I top aided a PPTQ locally here, and I think the only reason I didn't win it is because I forgot to board these in. But that's as may be. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. Let's get to the matches with green-white tokens.